It's me, Captain. My mommy is the best. Superman will be next. She helps mommy get those smiles back. Go get those back. And this might go back. You wait for the straw. Brush. Get ready for Pet Super Scrubby. Pet Super Scrub.
Welcome to Healing for the Soul podcast, sponsored by myself, Robin Stoltman, with this being season number 6, episode number 7. If you are ever looking for a virtual assistant who can edit your social media content, grow your social media, book clients, and much more that all businesses require, I highly recommend Sphere Rocket for all your virtual assistant needs. The link to Sphere Rocket is at the bottom of this episode. And before we get started, remember, I am your host, Robin Stoltman. And every week, I feature different guests to help you become the best version of yourself through different methods you may not have heard of or thought of. So be sure to like, subscribe, and keep coming back for more. And today, I'm talking about building leaders, not just followers. So in my comeback episode, I may have ruffled some feathers, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody, and neither are you. Because we get into that people pleasing when we start saying, you know what, I'm for everybody. Or my product in the sales world, it's for everybody. No, it's not. I can tell you, your product, while they sell it to you as it's for everybody, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants what you have to offer. A great example of this has been like the hypnosis in my case. There's people who want it, but there's people when they realize they're like, oh, I'm going to have to change me. I am the problem. Well, I'm like the first to admit, I know that I'm the problem. That's why I'm seeking help. I can't change anyone else. I can only change myself. Very few people realize this. So in this whole bringing back the podcast, bringing back the podcast really for me was something that I like doing. And actually one of the very first within the first jobs I had when I was younger, I started working at 14. And even at that, when I started working at 14 years old, it wasn't the very first job, it was the second job I had where I actually kept getting in trouble because I love learning about other people. Like I love learning about other people. I just do. So that's why I'm like, I need to bring this podcast back because of that reason. That's why I'm like, let's bring that back. And then having help now where it is edited, you're getting those clips and all that does help. So I just wanted to put that out there for people like, why did you bring this back exactly? And then plus I also said, life happens. I'm just saying. So in this, we'll get back to my subject about building leaders, not just followers, that I had mentioned, like I said, in the comeback episode. See, the importance of having followers for like your family. So say, for example, most men are considered head of household, okay? Men, biblically, are to be the leaders to their family. Men are supposed to be the providers. Men are supposed to be the ones that take and discipline their children. They're the ones that are supposed to raise up their family. They're supposed to be the breadwinners. Go out there and make stuff happen. Today's society, it doesn't necessarily happen that way. And I understand that. So I'm giving you an example of the husband being the head of the household. So he is the leader. Okay. But if that husband, for example, can't lead for whatever reason, like in my household, my husband can't lead. He is more of a follower, so he follows me. But even in that, I am still building him up. I'm still telling him, you know what, 16 years later here yet, I'm still trying to build you up to be a leader because I see that potential in him. See, when you've got a leader, a person that's a real leader, they see the potential in other people and they want you to help lead. They want you want to help that other person that's following you become the best version of themselves. You want that. Leaders are typically seen at the office. They're your boss. That's the other word for them. They're the boss. And you can think of other words that you probably say about your boss. But what I'm getting at is when we have these people in these important positions, when you've got them there, If you ever notice, most of these leaders either got there by accident or they've worked their butt off so that they know what they're talking about, so that they are in that leadership position. However, just because you're a leader doesn't mean that you necessarily have people that want to follow you. Most people follow just because they have to. Now, when you're in the situation, we're talking about workplace right now, even in the workplace, there's things you can do to not just identify, oh, this person wants to be a leader or this person wants to do more. There's things that you can do to help everybody, to level the playing field for everybody. Say, you know what, if you want to be able to be serious, to be a leader, to be a supervisor, whatever role that you're looking for, you want to build that person up. They shouldn't have to come to you and say, oh, I want to be a leader. It should be, hey, I'm really noticing this person is putting more effort, more work into this. And this also applies at your family. It applies in that situation when you've got children that you're bringing up. On social media, you want to have all these followers. That's great. But if you ever notice them, especially on TikTok, a lot of these influencers, it's like, why are people even following you? All you're literally doing is like taking a camera. Most of them cry into it because they want the attention. They're attention seeking. There's actually a histrionic behavior disorder why people do that. But even in that, when people have these followers, you can't take them to the bank account. Last time I checked, those followers don't necessarily pay your bills. What you're going to look for is you're going to want to look for the leaders. How can you lead somebody like TikTok? Like I said, it's a great example. There's a lot of people on there that are hypnotists or hypnotherapists that don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're like, oh, I can help you release your anxiety in like this 3-minute video. Really? Seriously, you can't. That's impossible. I can tell you right now, I've done it in 5 weeks. I've actually done it in 2 weeks, but 2 sessions each with a third one, obviously with a fifth one on there. I've been able to do it, release anxiety and fear flying in 5 weeks. I've been able to do it repeatedly. And it doesn't come back because anxiety is normal. It's how you handle it. And society blows it up, makes it this big thing. And it's like, really, what it is, it's nothing more than the fear of unknown. I'm just saying that's all it is. And we all have that because it's part of the survival mechanism. So, see, even in that, you can teach your followers how something simple like anxiety you're teaching them something that's a life skill. You can teach them how to overcome that and build them to becoming a leader, helping them focus on what do they want. Yes, they're going to be scared. Yes, they're going to have anxiety, which is why I brought the anxiety up. But the reason you couldn't start giving them little things to guide and to lead them along the way. It's no different than my children, okay? So I've got one son that wants to be a farmer. We started farming, I say farming in air quotes, just because I'm teaching him now what it's going to take to be a farmer. So when I have him go out and he's riding his tractor, his 1970 John Deere pedal tractor, he's got his trailer hooked up, he's going and doing the watering for his plants. But in his mind, I'm building him up to get that experience, that feeling of being a real farmer. So those are little step things that I can do to help him. Now, last year, he learned the hard way. If you don't water your plants, guess what? They die. Your crops die. So this year, he has already been like out there twice a day, reminding me, oh, I got to water my plants. And that's good because, see, that's step by step guidance. And when you're leading people, you want to give them step by step little things that they can do to help them empower them. Because if you go to like the talk therapist, I've been there for 16 years. There's a reason why some of the stuff that I say, I've made fun of like the average person. I've made fun of the people out there who have the panic attacks because that used to be me. I make fun of myself, and yes, it probably comes across as whatever. I don't give a rat's. But for me, specifically, what it is, like I said, is a lot of it, it used to be me. I wasn't always the high achiever that I am now. I wasn't always the person that's like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. To a certain extent, I was, but not always. I had life happen that pushed me to becoming this great person, this wonderful person that I am now, and continuing to be. So in this, I've learned, like, the followers, yeah, they're important if you want to get paid on YouTube. They're important if you want to get paid on TikTok, okay? But if you are an influencer, okay, you want to build people up. You don't want to just putting garbage out there. As I said, that's one of the things I get irritated with when I see it on TikTok. I'm like, seriously, if you look at some of the TikToks, it's like, why do you have anybody following you? You're not a person worth following. I'm not sorry, but a lot of these influencers, they're talking out their butt, and you can tell that they are. And yeah, they're putting all this stuff out there, but they're not building anybody. They're really not. They're just a follower that's acting as if they're all this in a bag of chips. And it's like, seriously, what are you doing to better people? You're not doing anything at all whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, what I have seen and why people do that. I get it, because the average people want people that are just like them, build that tribe, to build that community of people just like them. But why be average when you can be better? Why be average in that low level energy, low level animalistic awareness? Why be that when you're just reacting and you're following the masses, just drop the M? Why do that when you can have a better life? One that has, like, the abundance, where you're building leaders. You're building future generations. Say, you know what, we can change, we can do better. We know how to do more in life. You know, when you're changing the followers into these leaders, when you're giving them that empowerment, what I'm really talking about is you're giving back that control. See, I became the person, I'm 39 now, I became the person that I needed back when I was in my 20s. You know, the no sugar cookie, the no cookie cutter approach, because I'm not sorry, but nobody is a sugar cookie and nobody is a cookie cutter where we all one size fits all. No, 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 no. Even in school, can tell you right now, my report cards, think inside the box. I am not average on that. I never have been, never will be on that. And I know I contradict what I said earlier for that. But what I'm getting at is business wise. I have never been the average person that wants to go get a job and be like everybody else. I've never wanted that. I've wanted to stand out, make my mark, make this world a better place, which is why I'm like, let's build leaders, not just followers. If you could see my heart, I can tell you, I have a heart for building leaders up. I have met far too many people who are average that sit there and say that rich people are evil, rich people are greedy. It's the complete opposite. That is not true at all whatsoever. What I have found out is that those people that are saying those things are the most greediest, self-centered people that I've ever met in my life. And that is straight out fact. And you may not think that's true because where your mind is at right now, because there's 3 different levels of that mindset that comes with money, which I can gladly help you through my money mindset course in my school program. And with my pocket coaching that I have, if you go to my website, healingforthesoulplus.com, you would have that. And then healingforthesoulplus.com, by the way, I am switching it over to robinstoltman.com. Just that we're aware of that, because I'm in that transition. I'm making those changes now. So when we have these followers, like I said, and we're empowering them, we're giving those little step by step. Like I said, what I'm doing with my son. Now, the employers that are listening, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, what that means is that when you're doing these things, you're leading slowly, letting go of some of these things. Like I said, my son, I let him go out and water the crops on his own, because when he goes out, that's not a garden, that's a 100-acre farm. Okay. So he's got crops. He doesn't got a garden. He's got crops to go out and water, take care of. Okay. And those are small little things that, done enough over time with using the law of repetition, how we all learn, is we repeatedly do something, Hello handwriting, hello reading. We didn't start out knowing how to read and write. We had to learn and keep repeating the exact same behavior. So now we know how to read. Now we know how to write. Well, I'm doing this with my son. This is something that leaders can do to empower their followers. And you keep repeating the same information to your followers to build them up. Now, one of the things that does irritate me with leaders is say, "Oh, I believe in you." That is a crock. That's a great way actually to get the people that are gullible to get their money out of them. That's the reason why they do that. Because I tell you right now, the second you say, "I don't have any money," there goes that leader. I'm just saying, there goes that person. The second you tell them, "I don't got no money," okay, that's great. That's not a leader. That was the person just wanting to get money out of you. I'm just saying, I know this because I've had enough experience with quite a few people that I'm like, I see where you're going. You just want the money. You want to believe in me, but you don't want to believe in me if I don't got the ability to pay you. I see where that goes. That's why I'm like, it's a great way for people that are gullible. Because until you believe in you, no one else is going to believe in you. You have to have that little, just a little tiny bit of belief in yourself that maybe you actually can do something. Maybe you can do more when you're a follower, is what I'm talking about. You have to have that belief in yourself to say, you know what? I don't know if this will work. I don't need the whole picture. All I need right now is just one part of the step. Take it day by day by day. And eventually, what happens is that you're going to be able to find yourself that you are leading, that you are capable of doing more. And that is because when you have a leader that is worth following, then you can be able to do more because you're learning from them. We all learn best from other people. Like, for example, divorced people, if you ever want to know what to avoid in having a marriage, talk to divorced people. They'll gladly tell you it was the other person, it was this, and that, and the other thing. Divorced people are great for that because they tell you exactly what never to do in order to keep your marriage working. I'm just saying. And if you want to have your marriage work, never do what the divorced people do. Just saying straight out facts. Find somebody who has been married a lot longer than you. And by a lot longer, I mean more than 30 years because there's different age marks that people get divorced, like within the first year, within the first 5 years. The 20-year mark and then the 25-year mark is usually after they've had kids and they've already been out of the house. So don't listen to them necessarily because they're not going to have the best advice for you. You want to find somebody who's been married 30, 40, 50 years. That's where I've gotten a lot of my marriage advice from, and it has worked. Like I said, divorced people are great for never do this if you want to stay married. And the reason where I'm going with this is because, again, we're building leaders, not just followers. This applies to marriages. It applies within the family home. It applies at the workplace setting. It applies on social media. It applies everywhere. What's the message that you want to get out there? And my message is simply this: I want to empower leaders. I don't want people just to follow me, just to follow me. I want to create change. I want to create real lasting change to have people that are following that are like, you know what, I don't know if I can do this, but maybe I can do this because Robin has had XYZ happen. She can help me. It's kind of like I said, I became the person I needed back in my 20s. If I had had the person I am now at 39 in my 20s, oh my God, I would have saved a lot of time. I would have saved a lot of money, a lot of headache. I still would have had all my children. I would have actually, what I really would have done, I really would have applied my infertility method that I have learned and perfected because I had infertility to begin with. I would have took that baby for the infertility. My 100% it does work for the infertility to get pregnant. I would have used that back in my 20s. I'm just saying. I would have used it right then and there back in my 20s instead of when I did figure out what did I do to get pregnant. Because it isn't easy like what some people think, especially when you're dealing with infertility. It's a whole other ball game. And a lot of it, even on socials, that's what I have found. There's a lot of people that are just selling their products, selling their crap. And it's like, you've never had infertility. How would you know? If you've never had infertility, I can tell you there's a lot of people that are just selling you crap. Like I said, that no difference than the people in the healing world. I believe in you until you pay me, or you don't want to pay me. Then the second you don't want to pay me, I'm out. It's sad, but true. And me, I genuinely want to help people. That's why I have turned more people away than I have helped them. And at the same time, it's not even turning them away. It is helping them in a way, because if they're not ready, they're not at that point to become that leader, to become the best version of themselves. The people that are self-motivated, the people that know that they want more and they desire more and they're willing to do whatever it takes, including death, because that's how I've achieved the things, is I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to do this until my dying day to make this happen. I can tell you right now, those are the people that when times get tough, because they will, business is not a straight line. It is an up, down, valley. It is one hell of a roller coaster ride. I'm telling you, it's Valley Fair corkscrew. It's a one hell of a ride. It's up, down, up, down, up, down all the time. But you have to have those skills developed. The only way you're going to develop them from going from a follower into a leader is small, little incremental steps. And also, one of the ways, like I said, using the law of repetition, using hypnosis, which I am a certified hypnotherapist. I've gone to college for this. Not everybody has gone to school for being a hypnotherapist, by the way. You'll know who the ones who have gone versus those who haven't. The typical, the ones who have never gone to college for hypnotherapy, a lot of them are able to help like surface level things. They're not that good at it. One example is they don't start with the arm raising technique. Okay. So I was taught this Kappa-Syndhian hypnotherapist. Okay. So in this, a lot of people just taking a deep breath, let it in, let it out slow. And as you bind your eyes, allowing your body to relax deeper down into the chair. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but that's where they start. The guided imagery, meditation, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's all the same thing. But now in that, they don't test your ways that you're suggestible. They don't test it as far as asking you 36 questions. They don't do the finger spread. They don't do these certain things to test your suggestibility, because we all learn differently. Again, even leaders, you are finding out, you're asking, how does this person learn the best? Because we've got people that learn visually, we've got people that learn auditory, and we've got people that are hands-on learners. We've got people that are auditory kinesthetic learners, or they're a little bit of both. But when we've got these skills as leaders, again, you want to be able to empower people to use what they're already successful at, where you see them successful. What more can you do to help them cross that finish line in becoming the leader? And as a leader, if you can't see your followers as leaders, you don't even have a business being in leadership. You really have to see the ability for other people to lead and lead them well. That's what I do with my children. That's what I'm doing with my household, with my husband. I'm like, I can do this. I know that I can do this, this, and this. Here's what you're really great at. Why don't you do that? Because you're really good at that. I'm not. So I'll let you do this. I'll take and do this part. And it's that equaling of, you can do this and I can do this, but we're coming together to help each other to build. And again, like I said, this applies in the workplace, it applies in the relationships, that applies to social media. So really, when I'm talking about, you don't want just followers, because you can't take them to the bank account. Okay, that you just can't. And you want to be able to lead them. You don't want to be like a lot of the people on TikTok that I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? A lot of these people are just embarrassing themselves. I'm not sorry, but a lot of them are just embarrassing themselves, crying into the phone, trying to do all these things for attention. And the reason why they do it is because they did not get attention from their parents. That's a simple, straight out, plain out truth. I am no sugar cookie. I am not, I'm not about to do that because it doesn't help anybody. When you sugarcoat the truth so damn much, you get these entitled people. You get these people that are like, oh, I don't have to. Well, if you want to go to a place you've never been, you have to be willing to do the things you've never done. Even I'm finding that out to be 100% true right now. Like my podcast, when I brought it back, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it differently. Because in the past, I didn't have anybody to help me to edit and all that, which is great. That's why it should be free then. Because if you're not getting edits, you're not getting all of these things, like going out to e-speakers, for example, in my case, where you're going to be seen. You're not going out to YouTube. You're not able to have the edited, downloaded version of the podcast. Okay. That should be free then, like you shouldn't have to pay for that. But you're getting all of that with me being on my podcast. Okay. But what I'm going is that that's still helping lead people to when they go post these clips, these videos. It's helping lead and guide them to, okay, I'm giving you this. You're paying me X amount for this. And then you're able to take it and make it what you need for you to help you succeed. Because we've got this episode, we've done this. Okay. Now, this is helping create those leaders that I was talking about. Because ultimately, everybody wants to take and be a part of something. That's why I said the communities are important, which is why I started my own school community. Okay. And you get access through that by going to my website where you can learn about the pocket coaching I have. You sign up for it, the pocket coaching, and then you get little snippets 3 times a week of me helping guide and lead you into becoming that leader. So you're not just a follower. Okay. I have trouble with the average people who just want to stay stuck. Okay. A lot of us do that are high achievers because we can't figure out why you would be so content doing nothing except whining, complaining, and about your life. Like nobody wants that. What we want somebody who wants to change, who's sincere about, I can't keep living this the way I have been doing. I can't keep doing this to my family. Well, why is that? Why do you want better? Where do you see yourself in a year from now if you don't change? Well, the same. Okay, well, great. Do you have anybody to help you? And if the answer is no, you need to have somebody to help you. Leaders don't get to the top, like I said, not just in the workplace environment, but people who are real leaders don't get to the top because they're promoted or because they went to school for HR. Real leaders get to the top because they do the work on themselves. They're asking themselves those hard questions. Why do I want this? How bad do I want this? What am I willing to sacrifice, to give up in order to go where I want to go? What am I willing to do to have the family that I want? And so in those questions, I'm even asking right now, those great questions to help create lasting change so that you can be the leader. Because at the end of the day, you don't want just followers. You want to build up leaders. And again, you start with it in the home. And so as I close the show today, I want you to remember this. This isn't just another podcast episode that's talking about all these different things. And I've had wonderful guests, and I'm very happy. I'm very thankful to God that I've had the guests that I have had, and I will continue to have, because this is something that I have enjoyed. It really has been. But again, when I listen to a couple people, they're like, well, you're not this, and this, the podcast, but it's something I enjoyed because I genuinely do care about people. And I'm probably way too much because a lot of people I have found, I care more about their success than they do. And that's why I can't do with the average anymore. And for the high achieving mompreneurs, the high achievers that they want more, they're tired of being burnt out. They're tired of being worn out. And at the end of the day, they're like, this is all there is to life. Why am I doing this? I can't do this anymore. And that's what I'm getting at with this. So if you are the high achiever, and you're tired of grinding and grinding and grinding and nothing is happening the way you want. You're getting results, or maybe you're not getting results. And it's like you start to have that disconnect with your family, with other people. And you know that there's something inside of you that's like, damn it, if I could just do this, that would free up everything around me. I can help you with that. Because hypnosis is an amazing tool. That's just one tool. That's all it is a tool. Nothing more, nothing less. But it's an amazing, powerful tool, I will tell you that. I never got to where I am today without using hypnosis. When I was in talk therapy, it was another, come talk about my problem, come talk about my problem, come talk about my problem. Well, when you focus on the problem gets bigger. When you focus on the solution, it gets bigger. Where attention goes, energy flows. Again, you want to build up your leaders. You want to build up the followers. You want to turn those followers, especially online, you want to turn those followers into leaders. You want to lead them into the great person that they can become. Because I strongly believe that everybody has more potential that they could live up to, including myself. I'm just putting it out there. So at the end of the day, and before we close this, remember to like, subscribe, and share this Healing for the Soul podcast with everyone you know. And I encourage you to follow me, Robin Stoltman, on social media. And thank you for your time and your energy while listening to today's episode of Healing for the Soul podcast.
That's all for now, folks. Make sure you subscribe tap that follow button, subscribe. Quack, quack! Bye-bye. Well, next time. Now you got it.